It looks like a chess knight, but it plays completely differently. This is actually the cavalry piece for my strategy board game, and it's the final piece I needed designed before I can publish. So today I'll discuss my experience of having this piece designed and what's next for my board game. Let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Julian, and on this channel I've been documenting my journey of creating the ultimate strategy board game, Pincer, A Gentleman's War. In this game you'll expand your empire by building colonies, managing resources, and most importantly, facing your opponents on the battlefield. Head over to my website, playpincer.com, and join the email list so you'll be notified as soon as we launch our publishing campaign. So this is sort of a sequel to my last video where I unveiled the creepy, uncanny design I chose for the musketeer piece in my board game. Well, today I'm sharing the cavalry design that I settled on, and I think it shares a little bit of that uncanny, unsettling expression that the musketeer has, but I like that. I think they tie in together. And to be fair, I think the reception to this in my last video was pretty good overall. I thought that people really hated it based off the first post I made on YouTube, but I think it helped explaining my vision behind it. I had mentioned that the Lewis Chessmen chess pieces really played a big inspiration in the design choice for them. I think that helped a lot of people understand where I was coming from with these, and I think this cavalry piece fits in well with those. And so the very talented 3D artist that designed this piece goes by the username Bella Notch, and I hope I'm saying that right. I did look it up, and it means knight in German, so I did my homework, but Bella Notch, and I'll have her information linked below. She did a great job. The whole process went very smoothly. I'd mentioned in my last video that it was hard for me to communicate with some of the 3D artists that I found and hired, which obviously is an important thing. You want to be able to communicate your vision to the freelancers you hire. And one thing I've learned through this whole process of hiring designers is I think I'm always going to do some sort of Zoom call, some kind of video call with any freelancer I hire from now on for a few reasons. You know, when you're meeting someone over the internet to hire for a project, it's kind of nice to meet them face to face, or at least over a Zoom call, and confirm that they are who they say they are. You know, it's sort of an interview process. You can vet them, see if they really know what they're talking about, and then you can express your vision to them. And I will be doing this for every freelancer I hire from now on, because I think that's what helped this process go so smoothly. I was able to talk to Bella and get to know her a little bit, and she had the portfolio and the communication skills to really carry out this design. So a few years ago, before I ever had this YouTube channel, I actually spent my whole summer renovating an old wooden sailboat. Now, I know this doesn't have anything to do with board games, but this has brought me a lot of happiness, a lot of experiences, and a lot of stories over the years, and I finally decided to document these stories and make them available to channel members as well as Patreon supporters. I also have other videos there, a lot of behind the scenes, give you insights into what's coming next for the board game. So if you'd like to get to know me more and support the channel, this would be a great way. It really helps me out to pay for things like editing software, the stock footage site I use, even designers like the one I hired for this video. So please consider supporting my work by becoming a channel member or Patreon supporter. Thank you so much. So we hopped on a Zoom call. I explained to her my vision. I showed her some of the other designs, what I liked, what I didn't like about them, and how this piece needed to match the Lewis Chessmen inspired musketeer piece that I had designed previously, and that it needed to be bulky, compact. And I just made the executive decision right off the bat that we're just going to do the horse's head. We're not going to do the body or with the rider attached to it. Just the head of the horse looks fine. I like the style of it. And so she went from there. One thing I've said throughout this whole process is it was very important for me to see an actual artist's interpretation of what I'm telling them. I don't want them to just give me exactly what I have in mind. I want to see kind of their take on it. And I think she did a great job doing that. It was very nice of her to give me a first draft. She allowed me to look at it and give my input as well. I see where she was going with the mane. You can kind of see it's spiked up, and I'm sure she would have, put more sculpting and ironed this idea out a little more. But I decided that I kind of like just the non-spiky mohawk, I guess, version of a horse mane, and so we went with that. But one thing I tried to make very clear is I want this to have an uncanniness about it that matches my musketeer piece, and a big part of that are the eyes. The way I always envision my cavalry piece is having almost a startled, scared look to him, as if maybe, a big cannon is exploding next to him and he's kind of dodging it maybe, and it's a snippet in time of his facial expression. And I think a fearful expression kind of plays into the uncanniness that would match the musketeer. Originally, I thought it'd be fun to have his tongue hanging out. I saw that look on a different chess piece, but when it was all said and done, I felt like the tongue was a little much. She nailed the eyes. The eyes look great, in my opinion. I think they have this very clever, unique look to them that I love. But the tongue was a little much for me. I think it made him a little too silly. It almost kind of reminded me of a dog, I guess. But so we lost the tongue, and I think that she did a great job. I also love how he's kind of looking off down to the side a little bit. One thing I love about her design as well is the scale of it, if that makes sense, where this really looks like it could have been carved from wood as far as the detail in it. It's not too detailed. You don't see each individual hair on the horse's mane. It looks like someone could have sat there and carved it with a knife, which I love. And a few people have mentioned this in the comments. It's important that this piece looks good, but also mixes with the rest of the pieces and complements it as well. And so I was comparing it to the musketeer, and I like both of them on their own, but something does seem off as far as maybe the scale or the style, the detail. And I think I might actually consider taking the musketeer and cutting him off at the shoulders in a V kind of shape. I think this makes sense logically. Since we're just doing the head of the horse, it would make sense to just kind of do the head of the person. But also, if I do the whole body of the musketeer, the scale of him when they're next to each other is going to be much smaller detail on the face than I have on the face of the cavalry or the horse, and that's going to bother me. And so I think I'm going to have Bella do some work on the musketeer and kind of make the style match a little more and maybe increase the size of the details on the musketeer. As you can see, she also designed this base and she gave it to me separately so I can put it on other pieces as well. So that'll definitely be for the musketeer and the cannon. But I think overall these two pieces match as far as the musketeer and the cavalry. I think they seem like they could be from the same set, but the musketeer I would like to work on a little bit just to make bulkier features, I guess, and be a little more consistent with the cavalry. All in all, though, this is a big weight off my chest. I've really been in desperate need of my cavalry and my musketeer redesigned. I did not have the capability to do it or the talent, so I'm really happy to finally have those sort of locked in. And the rest of the pieces I am touching up myself, and I think it's going well. I'm really trying to look at them all as a whole set to make sure that they go well together and complement each other, and I think it's getting very close. This is going to be great to have these locked in. That way, if I get quotes for before I publish or launch a Kickstarter campaign, I can know how much things are going to cost. So I hope you like the design for the cavalry piece. Please let me know in the comments. And like I've been saying in the past few videos, my main goal is to publish as soon as I can. I'm working like crazy to get my game done, get the art finished, and really figure out what steps I need to take to launch a Kickstarter campaign. I've made a lot of big changes in my game lately. I mean, the artwork has been almost completely redone from scratch. The victory condition has changed, so we probably do need to play test a little bit more before starting a Kickstarter. But that is my main goal, to start a Kickstarter and get this game published. So make sure you sign up for the email list to get notified as soon as we launch our publishing campaign. Thank you all so much for the support. It means the world to me. I will see you soon. Farewell.